black. This morning, there's a strange bed, a strange person, the feeling of pain, clothes on the floor, and shaky memories. I reach for the phone, and I dial to the best friend. This morning, your phone is ringing. Your best friend is calling to tell you they woke up in a stranger's bed. Your best friend is calling you to tell you they were sexually assaulted last night. So you think, that could have just as easily been me. And you're right. It could have been. Because sexual assault is way more common than we think. 1 in 5 women will be a victim of sexual assault within their time at college. And 40% of men believe that it's okay to have sex with an intoxicated woman, which means that in 74% of cases, alcohol was consumed by either the victim or the assailant. The most at risk are freshmen and sophomore females. And schools underreport cases by nearly 44%, allowing many cases to be dismissed and victims go unheard. In 8 out of 10 cases, the female knows the perpetrator. And more than 90% of victims on campuses do not report their crime. So why is this? Many of the victims believe that the school will not do anything about it. There's victim blaming, which means that they either blame themselves for the crime happening, or they're afraid that other people will blame them. They know the attacker personally and do not want to create conflict. There's embarrassment involved that goes along with the victim blaming. Drugs are being involved, and they do not want to report the crime as they might have taken drugs or alcohol as well. And many people don't even know that it was a crime. If someone doesn't know that it's a crime, it's probably because they do not understand true consent. Consent is verbal agreement to all that is about to happen. And when I say all that is about to happen, that means they don't just consent to one action and then all the other actions are implied. It means every single action is individually consented to. A big one, since 74% of cases involve alcohol, is that consent is sober. That means that you can't consent if you're under the influence at any drugs, and then it's considered assault. And consent is never presumed. That means you have to get clear consent, and you can't just assume. So what are some of the problems that are affecting sexual assault? One would be that men need to understand consent, or when they are committing a crime, as a lot of men don't even understand that when a girl is intoxicated, they cannot consent to sex. If some men understand this, then sexual assault may not occur as much. Unfortunately, it will still occur some, so there are other things that we need to do. Victims need to feel comfortable enough to report their cases. If victims report their cases more, then more people would get in trouble and more things would be done. In incidents, bystanders need to step in. Sexual assault is so common that people must see it about to happen, or maybe even see it happening, and people should step in. Which means that we need to help each other out, as these could be our friends, these could be potentially us, these could be our sisters, our siblings.
Oh, no, you're not leaving, all right? No.
This isn't a PSA about a sexual assault.
Why do you want to go home? Oh, man, drink. Yeah, party, man. Party. No, you're not going to go home. Stay right here and hang out.
It's about being the
I
guy
think that you have a drink.
who stops it. Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
This means that we can do something. As you saw in that video that was put on by the It's On Us campaign by President Obama, there was a bystander who saw something happening and stepped in, which doesn't happen enough. There was an intoxicated female and a male going after her and probably trying to take her home, where she clearly would not be able to consent as she isn't sober, and somebody stepped in. Since we can do something, here's a list of tips that everybody can do that could help limit the amount of sexual assault that occurs. Number 1 would be talk to your friends honestly and openly about sexual assault. Number 2 would be don't just be a bystander. If you see something, intervene in any way that you can. As we saw in that video, you could just clearly be the person who stops the sexual assault from happening. Number 3 would be to trust your gut. If something looks like it might be a bad situation, it probably is, and you either need to get out of it or stop that situation from happening. Be direct. Ask someone who looks like they may need help if they're okay. Either if somebody is being hit on too much by the opposite sex and it looks like they're uncomfortable, help them out of that situation, or if somebody looks too much under the influence, you can help them out of that situation as well. And number 5, if you do see something, get someone to help. Enlist a friend, an RA, a bartender, or a host to help step in. Number 6 would be to keep an eye on someone who has had too much to drink, as they're often a target of sexual assault. Number 7, if you see someone who is too intoxicated to consent, enlist their friends to help them leave safely and make sure they don't leave with somebody who could potentially sexually assault them. Number 8, recognize the potential danger of someone who talks about planning to target another person at a party. Whether that be a friend or a stranger, if you hear someone pointing out somebody that they say they want to go back home and hook up with, recognize the danger and maybe help that person get out of the situation. 9, be aware if someone is deliberately trying to intoxicate, isolate, or corner somebody else. This goes along with number 8. If you see somebody doing that, step in and get that person out of danger. Number 10 is kind of a way to get them out of that danger. Get in the way by creating a distraction, drawing attention to the situation, or just clearly separating them. 11. This would be understanding that if someone does not or cannot consent to sex, then it is rape. And if you understand this when maybe you are planning on hooking up with somebody, you could prevent yourself from committing sexual assault. And you can also understand this if you might have been a victim and you know that you could not consent or you did not consent, then you know that you are in fact a victim. And number 12 would be to never blame the victim, as this causes way more problems and people tend to not report their crimes and they let it eat them up, and the person who committed the crime never actually gets condemned. Our very own President Obama has taken a stand against sexual assault. He says, "For anybody whose once normal, everyday life was suddenly shattered by an act of sexual violence, the trauma, the terror, can shatter you long after one horrible attack. It lingers when you don't know where to go or who to turn to. It's there when you're forced to sit in the same class or stay in the same dorm with the person who raped you. When people are more suspicious of what you were wearing or what you were drinking, as if it's your fault, not the fault of the person who assaulted you. It's a haunting presence when the very people entrusted with your welfare fail to protect you. It insults our most basic values as individuals, in families, and as a nation. We are a nation that values liberty and equality and justice. And we're a people who believe every child deserves an education that allows them to fulfill their God-given potential, free from fear of intimidation or violence, including sexual violence. And we owe it to each other to live up to those values. With this problem being so big and often going unheard, we owe it to each other to reject the quiet tolerance of sexual assault and refuse to accept what's unacceptable. With this being said, this could affect you or a friend in the future, or might have already done so. So, if you know just one person or you personally have been affected by the trauma of sexual assault, share this video and hashtag We Owe It To Each Other, as this video can help.